Everybody, we got about a couple minutes before we start our live session. I'm going to erase this out here. We got about one more minute until we start. So just have a pen and paper handy. If you have any types of like a water bottle, something like that, or maybe even some free weights or both. I'm going to recommend it as we're going to try to do some actual exercises. But we'll get started in about 1 minute. Okay, 1 minute. Boxes that they ordered are not the right ones. All right, I'm gonna get. I have to go into session. So just let me know like what. Okay, I'll be in here. All right, everybody. Hello and welcome. It's my name, of course, is Alexander Grichuhin. I'm one of the directors for Advanced Lung and Heart Disease. As we get started, we saw that there was a lot of people trying to get into the program, which is fantastic because I would like to work with you. But I need you guys to write something down for me really quick. Okay. So if you have access, which I'm sure that everyone has an email address, I noticed that before on the other live sessions, there was a lot of people that were wanting to ask specific questions, and I would like to know exactly what the problem is. Like what if you have COPD, if you have diabetes, if you have heart disease, whatever and all. I would like to talk to you, okay, personally. I would like to see what is going on, basically, because doing this like this way is a little more difficult than our virtual program. Our virtual program works as a two-way mirror where I see you, you see me. So if you can just do me a favor, I just need to know what your name is. This is not for anything else besides I just need to know who you are. And I don't need to know on an email that you're going to send me. I don't need to know your everything. I'll be asking you that personally through a phone call. Okay, so what I would like to do is give you a phone call personally and just kind of find out what is going on. Why are you having so much difficulty with breathing or your heart or anything like that? So what I want you to do is write this down. This is an email, HRN, the @ symbol, and then HRN dot center. Okay, so it's HRN. Let me rewrite that so it's a little more neater. I'm going to write it over here. Okay, so it's HRN at HRN.center. Do not add a .com, nothing on there. And you don't have to tell me your name on here. What I would like to know is just your name and how can I get a hold of you? Which phone would be best, not emails. Going back and forth on emails is too troublesome. What I'd like to know is exactly what problems you're having. And then you're going to talk to somebody like me, which is not just an assigned clinician, but I'm a registered respiratory therapist. I'm under the Maryland Board of Physicians. I have an active license. So you'll be talking to a live clinician like me, okay? But you'll be talking to me. I just would like to know what the problems you're having, just because if you, like, let's say you have a clinician, you have 20 people, okay? Each and every person will be different with their symptoms. Each and every person will actually have a different complication, not just one diagnosis. So I would like to know what the problems are. If you have a bad knee, if you have a lot of stress, if you're very depressed, if you're, what type of, I just would like to talk to you. Okay, so if you can do me a favor and just email me, all right, after this. So, and I see there's a lot of people watching me right now, so I would highly, highly recommend emailing me, okay? You just put, my email is hrn@hrn.center. Do not add a .com to it. That's all it is, okay? The center acts as a .com. It just goes through, specifically to me. I understand you have COPD, but I just stated that 2 people, 20 people, 100 people, 3,000 people with COPD won't have the exact same symptoms as everyone else. That's why I'm asking if you can email me. And then email me your phone number so I can personally call you. I'm not a salesperson. I'm just a clinician, but I would like to know what's going on. I'd like to know why you're having so many difficulties, what happened in the past, what did your doctor say, anything like that. I would like to know what is going on. So if you can just email me, all right? And on the subject line, you can just put Alex. So on the subject line, I'll put it down here. Okay. Take a picture of that if you can, or at least write it down. It's not a hard email to remember, but it's hrn@hrn.center. On the subject line, just put Alex. All I need is your name and your phone number. You don't have to put your diagnoses on there or anything. I will call you and find out what is going on, because I would like to understand what is happening and things like that. Now, if you want to call in, Brianna just put it on the comment section to call the office at 410-871-4601, and that's fine too. But what I would like to do as a clinician, instead of doing it blindly, I would like to know what is going on with you and what's happening, okay? So everybody in here, I would like to talk to you, okay? I am not going to try to get you into the program. I just need to know as a clinician what is going on, because it seems like you have a lot of people with COPD, but then you have people that have other problems too. And then you have people that they have, a different stage of COPD or a different type of COPD, because there's 5 types of COPDs, but you have somebody who has all these complications, like a lot of them. And there is, I understand, Cindy, I just stated that. I know people have COPD, but I need to know what is going on. How is it? That's not ambiguous, is it, guys? I just need to know what's happening, but I need you to email me your name and your phone number so I can directly call you and talk to you personally, okay? So I can see what is happening here, all right? Because your problem might be more, let's say you have COPD, but let's say you can't walk very far, or you haven't walked for a very long time. That's a different situation. Then you have somebody with COPD that has a different type, and they also have idiopathic pulmonary fibrosis that looks exactly like it. So what I'm just trying to say is that I'm not trying to take offense to any clinician you worked with. Cindy, I don't want anybody putting their personal information. Cindy Massey, I don't want anybody putting their personal information on here. We're a certified program. There's a HIPAA regulation. I don't want everybody to see what problems you have. I personally would like to know what is going on so I can better help you. All right? So don't put it on the comment section. Okay? Email me. All right? But on your email, I'll be talking to you. So you don't have to, all I need on your email is just your name and your phone number. That's it. I'll know where you're from because I'm looking at it. It's okay, but I got to keep everybody safe here, guys. You know, I can't have everyone knowing everybody's information here. This is a certified program. It's a law that we have to abide by, of course. You know, as any other certified program. So email me your name and your phone number so I can better understand you. And then what I'll do is I'll call you either today or tomorrow or something. I'll call you, and depending on how many people that actually do this, all I'm going to do is just ask you just generalized questions. The questions I'll ask is, what type of disease do you have or do you think you have? And then I'll go over like how far can you walk? What seems to be the problem, like everyday life? Well, what's happening? Do you work? Do you not work? Do you smoke? Do you not smoke? You know, what types of foods do you eat? And, you know, I'll be asking you a series of questions to get a better understanding of what the problems you may have. Okay. Brenda, again, do not state your disease so everybody can see it. I need an email, just a simple email, emailed to me. Email address, again, is hrn@hrn.center. No one, please comment your disease on here, all right? Other people are, though. Okay, you might not be seeing it, but you're not looking at the right direction. I'm not sure. I don't know what you're seeing right now because I can't see you or what you're doing. Somebody, Facebook user. Excuse me, one quick second. Yes. Okay, today. All right, I appreciate it. Yes, thank you. Thank you very much. So, guys, all I need to know is I just need you email me, subject line Alex, your name and your phone number. That's all I need. Okay, I just need to kind of talk to you to see what's going on, type of thing. All right. Let's see. All right. Now, just remember, no personal information. Don't put your phone number and things like that on here. Okay, on the comment section. I'm just trying to keep you guys safe. But, you know, that's what I need. I just need you to email me your name and your phone number so I can talk to you to see what's going on. Okay. Now, as we get started here, does everybody have this? hrn@hrn.center. Okay? All right. Remember, if you have any questions, you can easily just call us. Now, I'm going to go over some of the basic things that happens in your body as you exercise and what to kind of look forward to and like what to look at and things like that. First, I'm going to just draw up something as simple as an artery. If you get these right, we move forward and just keep, we just keep going. Anyways, this artery represents two tissues, non-specific tissues or organs. This right here, this tissue, let's pretend this tissue here consumes, let's say 10%, and this one down here consumes 5%. The 10% is consumed during exercise, and the 5% is consumed during exercise on this tissue. During rest, 0.14, let's say, percent at rest. And at this one, it would be 0.012, let's say. Okay. So the R stands for resting, while the E stands for exercise. So right now, my body's consuming oxygen, correct? Yes. Now, if I don't do anything and I just sit still, my body will just be consuming the resting amount of oxygen to keep my body alive. During exercise, my body has to heighten its workload now because I'm exercising. So the more oxygen is going to be needed for that body, more gas exchange. And what I mean by gas exchange is ventilation. You want to make sure you're properly ventilating. So anyways, at rest, let's say my SpO2 at rest is 95%. And at the end, and I'll explain this more in detail in just a second. Say 0.4, 1.2, so 4.2, so 94.682, roughly. Okay, anyways. Make this easy. I'll make it easy. Okay. Now, this is the SpO2 at your finger. This is the SpO2 at your finger as well. Okay? So don't let that confuse you. I'm going to clarify it and make it a lot easier to understand. So don't worry about this just yet. Let's put some other vitals on here. Let's say heart rate. Let's say the heart rate, and I'll draw that up in red. Your heart rate is 70 beats per minute. Okay? Now, blood is running through this arteries that's running throughout your body. The blood is running how fast? 70 beats per minute. The pulse rate. Okay? 70 beats per minute. So that's your pulse rate. How much oxygen is in the blood right now? About 95, 94% average. No one should ever be having one single number on their pulse ox. People think there's something wrong with them, and they put their pulse ox on and say, oh, it's 95, oh, it's 94, it's 93, it's back up to 96, it's 94. I said, it's not a such thing as one number for each and every person. Oxygen fluctuates depending on how much usage you need, how much the demand needs for your body. As you exercise, the oxygen intake is higher. Okay, we look at RPE as rate of perceived exertion. We look at that. We look at talk tests, other things to help out with our clinical expertise to help us out understand you better. So anyways, there's no such thing as one number. Like, oh, I'm always 96. Nope, no, you're not. You're just not looking at it more carefully is what the problem is probably. Anyways, now blood is running through here at 70 beats per minute. It flows into this tissue, and this tissue, so the oxygen has to get transported past this membrane, that surrounds the tissue. How does the oxygen get pushed through the tissue? I'd like to get two answers before I give you the answer. Give a guess. How does the oxygen get past the tissue in order for the tissue, which is an organ, to consume its oxygen to stay alive or to work functionally? How does the oxygen get past the tissue? Anybody? Please write in the comments section. I'll be happy to see your answers. And I don't expect you to know these answers, but these are things that we should know. Okay? Anybody? Come on, give a guess. Come on now, one guess. How does the oxygen get transported into the tissue? How does it get absorbed? It's the same question. Your blood, exhale, exercise. That is incorrect, guys. No big deal. So blood is closer to it, but it's absorbed. Now, come on, guys. Of course it's absorbed, but how is it absorbed? How does it get pushed? Movement. What kind of movement? You're on the right track. So the people that are closest is blood and movement. But what type of movement? Lung movement? Like what type? Pressure! Very good. Pressure. So there's no pressures on here in a sense, even though, and yes, heart, breathing, no, that is completely incorrect. The act of breathing is getting air into the lungs. At that point, the oxygen in that air has to get transported past a semi-impermeable membrane called the alveoli. Okay? And then at that point, it has to enter the blood. Okay? How much percentage? 4 to 6%. So whatever you're breathing right now, only 4 to 6% is actually making it into your blood. Okay? Then circulating. So it enters your blood, and at that point, it has to travel, and your heart pushes the blood all the way around to its necessary organs where the pressure pushes the oxygen molecule past the membrane. So what pressure are we talking about? We're talking about blood pressure. Excuse me one quick second. I have a patient. 1 second, please. Hello, John. It's suite 210. 210. Yeah, it's okay. I'm with a bunch of patients right now. So, but it's suite 210. Just ring the doorbell and come in. Okay, thanks so much. Thank you. Bye-bye. Sorry about that, guys. When there's an emergency, I have to respond to it. Okay, that was an emergency. So, so anyways, all right. Heart rate, there's not really any major pressures here, so let's put a pressure. Let's put blood pressure. And let's say the blood pressure is 120 over 70. Okay? Now, how do I know that's good blood pressure? How do I know that's good blood pressure besides what the books say? How do I know that's good? Because if I took systolic pressure, that's my systolic pressure, my diastolic. If I took my systolic pressure and subtracted it by the diastolic, anything above 25 is reasonably good. Okay? So if I took, well, what is it going to equal? 50, 120 minus 70 is 50. So is that above 25? Yes. That means that's good blood pressure. Okay, how about this one? 210 over 100. Is that good? Yeah, person's still alive. It's not the greatest blood pressure, but yeah, that works. Why is that? Because if I took 210 subtracted by 100, is it above 25? It's not the best blood pressure because it's going to cause a lot of problems, especially if it's chronically that way, But needless to say, if I took my blood pressure, so in a sense, what I want you to get away from this is the pressure good? So now let's put 120 over 70, and let's pretend everything's fine with that first. Okay. All right. So I put a blood pressure. You know what? Let me throw you a curveball. Make you think a little bit. Let me throw you a curveball here. Let's say it's 68 over 14. I brought this up in one of my classes, and one person got it right out of everybody in there. 68 over 14. I know it's a death sentence, 68 over 14. Anybody with that blood pressure, they wouldn't be conscious to see that. But let's just pretend. What would your oxygen look like? Would it be high? Would it be low? It would be very high. Why would your oxygen be nearly 100%? Think about it. Because you're thinking if oxygen is in my blood, I'm good. What you're not looking at is oxygen is staying in your blood and it's not leaving your blood. You do realize if 100% comes in and 100% is left over, because where's your pulse ox? It's on your finger. So air comes in and goes to your lungs. It doesn't right at that point go straight to your finger. You're not measuring what you just brought into the body, what you had just inhaled. You're measuring after. Just look at the line of sight. Like look at the travel. Just look at a circulatory system and look at the ways it travels. First thing is as soon as air gets to the lungs, first place it goes, the lungs, right? Next place it goes is where? Your finger? No, of course not. Where does it go to next? Heart. Okay. How much does the heart consume every time you breathe? 20%. Brain. How much does your brain consume? 30%. That's 50% right there. Imagine you have somebody at 100%, okay, and they're exercising and they're 100%. It means that the oxygen stayed in the blood and the body didn't absorb any oxygen. It just got pushed into the blood, but it's just circulating throughout the blood, and the oxygen content, the percentage is staying high because no tissues are absorbing it because the blood pressure is too low in order for the oxygen molecule to get past the semi-impermeable membrane in order for it to get deposited and saturated, into the tissue itself to keep the tissue alive. Okay? So that's what we do, right? That's what happens. Blood pressure is everything. Okay? Heart is everything. You're looking at, high oxygen levels, and you're like, oh, I want to get a high oxygen level. Think about that for a second. If the body didn't consume, if the brain didn't consume its fair share, heart didn't consume its fair share, and the content of oxygen is staying high in the blood, why would you want 100% left over? Because you're measuring on your finger. You're not measuring what you just brought into the body. You're measuring on your finger. That probe site is on your finger. Think about that for a second. If air comes in, goes into your blood, and your body, your brain, your heart, your liver, by the way, the three organs that consume the most amount of oxygen is your liver, heart, and brain. So let's just say those are consuming its fair share of oxygen. Okay? They're consuming its fair share of oxygen, but you're left with 100%. Makes no sense at all. Because the quantity of oxygen should be depleted a little bit. Not staying 100% high. Okay? Is it the same when your blood pressure is normal, 120/80? So remember, normal, it's kind of hard to say normal, but we look at 120/70, 120/80 as being pretty normal. But then you're looking at like 110/70, 110/60. If you take systolic pressure minus diastolic, and as long as the millimeters of mercury of your result at the end, once you take systolic and minus the systolic from the diastolic, and if it's above 25, you're good. There's enough pressure for push. Remember, systolic pushes nutrients past the cell, and then you have diastolic that pulls the bad stuff out. It's negative pressure. Okay, it's a pressure, but you have. Let me see your heart here. Look. Systolic pressure, the contraction of the heart. Where's the blood go? It goes to the lung to absorb oxygen, right? Diastolic, the relaxation of the heart, pulls the blood back out from the lungs, back into the heart, and circulates. Okay? So if the pressure was too light, what would the heart do? It's not going to push much at all, is it? Okay, what if it's beating really fast, like atrial fibrillation? Let's say it's AFib, over 200 or plus beats per minute. What is it going to do? There's no fluid refill time. It's very, very poor, meaning the heart's just vibrating. So it's not even going to push blood anymore. It's just going to vibrate, and then you're left in a coma, if not passed out already. But okay, so oxygen gets transported into the blood, circulates, goes to this organ. I'm setting at 95%. Oxygen gets deposited into the tissue. My blood pressure is definitely not going to be that, because that's a death sentence. So let's put 120/70 here. The CO2 gets pulled out. How does CO2 get pulled out? Diastolic. Okay? I'm confused. When I've been on the hospital, they say 100% is good. So I'm the top 3 practitioner in the world. What they mean by that is worldwide health leaders to all sorts of organizations label me as the top 3 in the world as one of the best practitioners in the world. So you have somebody who goes in a hospital and say 100% is good. Tell them to get the money back from school they went to. 100% is not good. 100% is good at rest, not during exercise. During exercise, you should have a decrease. I worked at the Olympics, and I have physically seen people's oxygen go from 99 down to 74%, and you have to wait for the heart rate to climb, blood pressures on systolic to come up about 10 torr, T-O-R-R, torr. It's the equivalent to millimeters of mercury. Anyways, you have oxygen coming in, the body's consuming it. Why would you be left with 100% left over if your body's consuming it at a rapid rate of work while you work out? Yes. Do you understand? Okay. Whether you like it or not, this is a fact. I don't make this stuff up. This is off the Maryland Board of Physicians, AACVPR. This is normal anatomy and physiology. This is what happens. Okay? But if somebody else told you something different, I wouldn't listen to that person because they told you something incorrect. Because if you look at it, why would 100% look good? Think about it. If your body doesn't consume anything, why would you be left with 100%? I mean, you would be left with 100% if your body didn't consume anything. The oxygen is staying in the blood. It's not leaving the blood. It's not going into a tissue now, is it? It's staying in the blood. Do you see how that's conflicting? You're thinking 100% is good, and that's why I see a lot of you people going in back and forth to the hospital because you're wondering why you pass out. You're wondering why you pass out. Oh, I'm so out of breath. You're thinking the oxygen is what causes out of breath, I'm sure, don't you? Like, let's say my oxygen is down to 70%. How out of breath would I feel? I wouldn't. Okay? Take a look at carbon monoxide poisoning. Does any of the symptoms of carbon monoxide poisoning ever state you're out of breath? No. You have a large migraine, okay, because the carbon monoxide. I'm not talking about CO2, I'm talking about CO. Carbon monoxide, not dioxide. So you have oxygen coming in. I'm sorry. You guys got me on a level right now. So when it comes to pressure, let's just make this very simple. When it comes to pressures are everything. If you have bad blood pressure, poor blood pressure, okay, you might not do very well during an exercise because there's no push. Okay, so the oxygen content does it stay high in the body? Okay, at rest, yes, at resting. That's why I put R as resting. Exercise levels being a higher content. Okay, so oxygen comes in, CO2 gets pulled out. First, it's from lactic acid buildup from the muscle contractions of you exercising, running, jogging, whatever. As it comes out as lactic acid, buffers out and turns into CO2. The CO2 then gets put into the blood, and now the CO2 has to travel, right? All right, what's my oxygen stat after this? During exercise, it consumed 10%. At rest, it would have only consumed 0.14%, okay, or 0.14. So right now, my oxygen is down to 85%. Okay, does carbon monoxide ever state that you're out of breath? No, because even though there's barely any oxygen in your system, you're not winded at all. So if what you thought was true with low oxygen, hey, my oxygen was down to 80%, down to 70%, I'm so out of breath. Well, look at volume. That's why you want clinicians. You don't want to do this blindly by yourself like this. You want somebody like me to help you. Are you breathing with a volume with that size lung, or are you breathing with an adult lung that's actually this size? Meaning, are you breathing shallow? Think about it for a second. You're out of breath, and you're wondering why you're out of breath with low oxygen, when oxygen is actually not the culprit that actually causes out of breath. Think about it for a second, okay? If what you thought was true, then the symptoms of carbon monoxide would be completely contradicted completely. Because low oxygen, to your thought, will cause out of breath. So then the symptoms of carbon monoxide poisoning means nobody would be, everybody would be out of breath with carbon monoxide poisoning, so the symptoms would state that, but it doesn't. Okay? It's a good way of looking at it. Just look at carbon monoxide poisoning on Google or something. Just look it up. You'll see what I'm talking about, but this is stuff that everybody should know already. Out of breath is not caused by oxygen. So then why do people that are out of breath have low oxygen sometimes? Because they breathe too shallow. Your body is massive. You're a human being, not a squirrel. Okay? So if you're breathing too shallow, you're only pulling in a little bit of oxygen when your body's trying to consume, let's say, a gallon of oxygen. You're only giving it maybe about a teaspoon. Okay? It's not enough. And because you only breathe in a little bit, you can only exhale a little bit, meaning a little bit of CO2 came out, causing your work of breathing to be high. All right? Okay, I hope you understand. Now, so it's down to 85%, goes into this tissue. This tissue consumes 5%, so at the very end, I'm down to 80% oxygen, heart rate 70 beats per minute. What's going to happen is once the CO2 climbs a little bit higher, the body's going to try to equalize that by increasing what? How do you get the CO2 out of there faster? You can breathe. This is not at your lungs right now. This is an organ. I'm not specifically stating which organ because that's not relevant. What I'm trying to tell you is these are two organs, two tissues that are consuming oxygen. That's all. One is consuming one at 10% while the other one's consuming one at 5%. Why do you think I want you guys to call me? These things can be like, you're talking about, a lot of you guys want me to take 6-8 years of schooling that I had to do and put it into 1 hour. It's not going to happen. It's not going to work. It's just too much information. So anyways, drop down 80. How do I get the CO2 out of the body? I have to breathe it out, but the CO2 has to travel. Let's say the CO2 is in my legs. How does it travel? My heart does that. So I have to get my heart rate back up. How does my heart rate speed up? As I exercise, CO2 climbs. The body senses that the CO2 climbs because it's afraid the pH in your body, the acidity in your blood, might drop, and it doesn't want that to happen. So what's going to happen now is it's going to stimulate a little hormone. Some things will get stimulated. Your heart rate is going to start increasing, speeding up, shooting the CO2 out to your lungs so you can breathe it out faster. So at the very end, your heart rate is probably about up to like 110. Okay? Your oxygen, remember, these tissues are consuming exercise levels, so they're consuming more. So as blood is increasing, these are getting more oxygen now. As they're getting more oxygen, I was at 95%, my oxygen dropped, I had to wait for my heart rate to climb, and now my oxygen is back up to 95, 96%. Because why? Why is that? Does anybody know? Why is that? Why is my oxygen back up again? My oxygen is back up because my heart rate climbed. My heart rate sped the process up, and that's what it's supposed to do. Okay? When we're exercising, we just have to understand that, first off, pulse oximeters, when you put a pulse ox on your finger, you're measuring what's left over, not what you brought into the body. It's never what you brought into the body. Okay? Got everybody just take a 2-minute break really quick, grab some water. We're going to go into some exercise in just 2 minutes. Hello. Yeah, there's the conference table and then kitchenette. Take care now. Oh, can you do me a favor? Abby's inside that office right there. Can you give her the information and just because she's getting quotes. But I wanted to use the company that goes to my house. So, but I just wanted to thank you. Thank you. All right, guys. Everybody grab some water. Let's do some breathing exercises. Let me see if there's any questions on here. Okay. So it looks like there's a few questions up here. Okay. So first question, let me just take this away here really quick. Okay. So first question is, will this help someone with oxygen? of course, it'll help somebody with oxygen. It will help you come off oxygen, actually. Best exercise for the lungs. Well, there's a lot of exercise for the lungs. So you're looking at the best. It all depends on the person. Let's say I do a lung exercise with you, but then I find out that you have a tracheostomy, or and you don't know. There could be people with trachs in here, and actually we have people with trachs. So let's say also a person has a very bad back. I give a breathing exercise that requires back movement or other types of things too, and there's more complications with your lungs. You have fragile lungs or something. That's why I want you guys to call me first. I want to see what the problems you're having, and then I'll kind of look at a proper plan with a proper technique and proper exercise you can do at home. So that's why I wanted to talk to you. So remember that email address. Just rewind after this session. Rewind the session from the beginning. I put up hrn@hrn.center, no.com. That's the email address. Just email me at hrn@hrn.center. Okay, subject line, just put Alex. That's my name, Alex. I'm a board licensed clinician. All right, so just email me. All I need to know is your name and your phone number, and I want to talk to you to see what the problems you're having. But best exercises for the lungs, it's kind of complicated because, like, let's say you go on Google and there was somebody with like the Noah Wellspan one. We don't ever associate ourselves with Noah Wellspan, ever. Okay, there's a reason why it's free. Okay, there's a reason why YouTube is free too. Now, we do have things on YouTube, but we're actual clinicians. The problem with YouTube, as the not National Board of Respiratory Care, but the American Association of Respiratory Care, they did a study. Okay, and they're a very good organization. They did a study on people that use YouTube videos for exercises, and the outcomes were absolutely disgusting. They were not good at all. Do you know why? Because there is no peer review, meaning there's no clinician to oversee what the person's doing, what the complications are, and help that person the best. So you can make one thing, and I can say this: everybody, just take a deep breath in, and there's your therapy. What a load of junk that is. Anybody can do that, right? Well, you want to get helped. You don't want to stay the same. You want to get helped. You want to get better. Okay, the only way to actually get better is to actually work out with a clinician. And that means joining our rehab program. But first thing, I just need to know what's going on. Like, I need to know what your problems are and everything. So best exercise for the lungs, I can give 1,700 of them, but I can't do it in this amount of time frame. So I'd rather, out of 1,700, 1,000, whatever techniques that I know about, lung exercises, you might end up with like 20, so you might not end up with all 1,000 because you might, one technique might be contraindicated because you have a heart disease that pressure is a big problem with you, and doing this therapy might hurt that problem. Okay, so I need to know what is actually going on first. Okay, can you please explain your program? So the program is, we are covered under Medicaid also, but Maryland Medicaid. But we're covered by all insurances. So from Medicare, anything with Medicare, Blue Cross, United, Aetna, whatever, any of those insurances we're covered. So meaning once you start in the program, billing works out and lets you know everything first before you start, and then you have to agree to everything. The agreement is very simple. You understand that you're going to have an assigned clinician. You'll be participating 3 days a week until you're successful. Okay, now what does successful mean? You write down the goals that you want to achieve health-wise. And if they're realistic, we will work with you on those goals. Okay, so there is just a lot of emergencies today. I'm not sure what is going on. Just give me one hot second again. I do apologize. Hello, this is Alex. Hi, Lori. Yes. Okay. Absolutely. Okay, absolutely. No problem. Yes, I'm here right now in this session with patients. No, it's okay. Thank you. All right. Thanks. Bye-bye. Thanks. I do apologize. A lot of people calling me. I'm not sure what's going on today. Anyways, all right. So the rehab program, we work out we do hyperinflation therapy, lung stretches, a lot of different exercises, cardio exercises, strength training, stress management, yoga. We do Tai Chi. We'll do everything. So every single thing. You're not just doing breathing exercise. You're walking in place. And if you can't walk, then we'll do leg exercise until your legs are stronger, and then we'll work on the walking part. So we'll take somebody who is, has severe complications to moderate complications and rehabilitate them successfully. If the person's goal is to come off oxygen completely, then that's their goal. If the person, let's say, can only walk 5-10 feet and they want to be able to at least walk a mile, or 2 miles, that's achievable. That's okay to do. We always hit that goal anyways. So with oxygen and everything else. So that's what it means by successful. We base the success rates off of your goals and what we also add to your goals. Like if you have a lot of congestion, we'll do things like bronchial hygiene, and we'll send you equipment, and then basically you do the therapy with your assigned clinician until you're back to square one, to what you like. And then we report back to your doctor about any complications we're seeing, medications that might not be working out for you. And we study you, basically. We study you, we work out with you, everything. So you can call your assigned clinician up even at 3 o'clock in the morning if anytime you're having a problem. And then, we're with you nonstop until you're out of the program. But it's a virtual program. So meaning online pulmonary rehab and virtual. Virtual means where I see you through a camera and you see me through your camera using your telephone, a tablet, or a computer, anything with a camera on it. And then you will be able to hear and see me like you are now, but then I will be able to hear and see you as well. I'll see how you're positioned, how you're sitting, how you're breathing, everything. Okay. So the online one works as a one-way mirror. Okay. Online pulmonary rehab is where you do therapies with pre-recorded videos. Okay. Virtual is where it's telemedicine. It's called tele-rehab, where I see you, you see me, you stay at home, and we just do therapy for the 3 months until you're successful, basically. And if you need more time, if your doctor wants you to have more time, we'll discuss it with you if you think that's okay. Because remember, you're the boss, okay? The doctors refer patients into the program, but we don't take away patients away from the doctor or the hospitals. We just work with them, okay? And that's how this program works. So it's a very, 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 very highly successful program. In fact, there's not one company out there that can beat us. So far, there hasn't been one. Ever since we started, we hold a very high success rate, and no one is close to achieve that success rate. Success rate, like I said again, is based off of what you can do. All right, it's based off of, like, let's say somebody can only do right now 5 feet, and your goal is to get to a mile. If I get you up to a mile, and that's what you wanted, that's 100% successful. If I got you, let's say you can only walk 5-10 feet, but I got you up to 2 miles, but your goal was 1 mile, then that's more than 100% successful. Okay, so usually we always surpass the goals. Usually we always surpass the goals. So if your goal is to come off oxygen, we'll get you off oxygen, and being able to walk miles, we'll get you able to walk miles. Okay, not just 1 mile. The point on this program is not just to educate you, but it's also to rehabilitate you, because you'll exercise. It's not just you sit there and just watch. You exercise with us. Okay, but specifically breathing exercises and working out the legs, your brain, your shoulders, pectoral majors, like just your whole body. Okay, stress, everything is included with that. And that's what it means to be in a virtual program. And that's why, as far as what we do here, yeah, it's very, very successful. Also, we're accepting people to come into the program virtually. But the first 15 people will get a t-shirt. The doctors are trying to get us to push this, and your insurance companies are trying to get us to push this as much as possible, because I'm not sure if you know, there's a lot of rural hospitals that are shutting down because patients keep going to the hospital, but they keep returning back to the hospital once they're discharged. And because the onset of that is happening so frequently, they're causing, if you didn't read the news, they're causing a lot of hospitals to shut down permanently because it's just not working out. Okay, and I'm not sure if you know what the fines are. So let's say you got admitted into the hospital, and you went home after that, and let's say the next day you return back. Anytime within 30 days, that hospital will now get fined about $7,000 to $15,000 just because you return back. It's a fine. Okay, it's a fine, and CMS, Center of Medicare Medicaid, they issue that. So we dropped readmission rates down to 2.4% when the national average is 30+% of readmissions. So hospitals and doctors and insurance companies are saying, get these people into that program. Okay, so they're trying to do whatever it takes, because once you enter the program, most likely you get your life back, but you won't need us again. Okay, because I'll get you to that point. At least that's what we strive for. I don't need to write anything down, I don't think. But in the session, it's an hour and a half. You'll go through a lot of assessments at first, but then you'll have a clinician that will get to know you inside and out. And then that clinician, like me, would just be helping you, but throughout your whole program, which is 3 months. But now, mind you, if you're very sick and your doctor needs you to go longer than 3 months because you're getting better, but you just need more time, then we'll let you know that and see if that's okay with you. But we go by what your doctor states, and of course our doctors. Okay, so the first 15 people will get a what? T-shirt. A T-shirt mailed to them, and some other little giveaway stuff too, like pens and stuff like that. But first 15 people that enters into the program, or at least signs up for the program, will get a T-shirt. I'm just talking about being into the rehab program itself, the actual virtual program, the tele-rehab itself. You get a free T-shirt, yeah, it's all good stuff. But it's the only way you can really find out is if you actually join. I see there's a lot of people joining the program, which is excellent. But we're trying to help a lot of people because there's millions and millions and millions of them. And, our social media groups are very high in popularity, of course. But if you know somebody that needs a little help, remember, there's always a million reasons not to do something. You might have somebody like, oh, I have to work. I got to do this, got to do that. There is no reason. We actually work with employers that actually allow us to do therapy while that person's on break. Okay, there is no excuse not to join. Okay, there is no excuse, but you're talking about an actual shot of actually getting better, not staying the same, actually improving. Okay, if there was a shot of that, why would you not take that shot? Beyond, all of us are just baffled by that, but we're trying to get you into the program as quickly as possible because we need to fix a lot of these people that are very, very sick. Okay, they have a lot of problems with COVID, long-term COVID, short-term, whatever. But yes, we need to work with those people. Anyways, as we go to the end, everyone, let's go ahead and sit. If you're not sitting already, go ahead and sit down. Okay, real quick, let's do a quick lung stretch. Take a deep breath in. Hold and twist. 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, exhale. Remember what I just did. I filled my lungs up first, 100%. Don't take a shallow breath and do that. It won't work. You're physically stretching your lungs out. Take another deep breath in. Hold and twist. Exhale, come back up. Remember, hold time is 3 seconds. The reason why I put my elbow on my inner groin is that's my pivot point. That's where I'm going to pivot. That's where I'm going to turn at. Okay, that's my access point, right? Okay, the other thing is you got to fill up your lungs. You might get a little lightheaded. Just slow it down a little bit. You're physically stretching your lungs out, and now your lungs have all this air coming in there. It probably didn't have that. It might be a little bit of a shock to you. Before it wasn't a lot of oxygen, and now there's a large amount of oxygen and air movements in your lungs. Your body might get a little shock to it, meaning you might get a little lightheaded. Just slow it down a little bit, okay? Now, place one hand on your chest, one hand on your stomach, please. Take a deep breath in and only use your diaphragm. Watch how I breathe. You only use my diaphragm. Don't move your chest. Your chest stays still. Move only your diaphragm. Breathe in. Distend your stomach. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Intercostal only. Your stomach. Your stomach should not move this time. Only your chest. Watch how I pivot. Okay? All right. Now, if you want to do this with me, try to do it behind a chair first. Always go slow. These are called mini squats. If you don't feel comfortable doing this, just watch how we do it first, or watch how I do it first. Right now, all I want you to go down is not all the way. I just want you to go down about 6 to 7 inches, and that's about 6 to 7 inches, obviously 8 inches. So when you go down, I only want you to go down this much. You're only bending your legs slightly. You're only going down 6 to 7 to 8 inches. Do not go all the way down, okay? Because I don't know where you're at with your legs. Your legs might be very weak, but if you can at least bend your legs a little bit and come up, might be a lot better, because then you're not working with a lot of weight and compression, okay? So just use a chair. Okay, if you're ready to stand up, go ahead and stand up. Keep your feet shoulder width apart. All right, first we got to prep. Purse lip breathe for 10 seconds, the proper way. Purse lip breathe properly. Take a deep breath in through your nose. Smell the flowers. Put out the fire. Good pressure should be coming out. Inhale again. Chest up. Sit up nice and straight. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Okay, when I say 3, 2, 1, we're going to go down. When we go down, we inhale. As we come up, we exhale. You ready? 3, 2, 1, down. Inhale. Up, exhale. Down, inhale. Up, exhale. Don't give up. Don't stop. Down, inhale. Up, exhale. Down, inhale. Don't breathe in like a turkey. I want you to breathe in like a human being. Down, inhale, up, exhale. Breathe in, pull in some air. Stop breathing shallow. Down, inhale. Up, exhale. Down, breathe in. Much better. Up, exhale. Down, inhale. Up, exhale. Down, inhale. Up, exhale. Down, inhale. Up, exhale. Remember, these are mini squats. Down, inhale. Up, exhale. Down, inhale. Up, exhale. You only have 2 left. Come on, get through the 2. You can do 2 more. You can do 2 more. Down, inhale. Up, exhale. Down, inhale. Up, exhale, and stop. Now I need you to do recovery breathing, okay? When you first start your exercise, you breathe, you purse lip breathe for 10 seconds. Once you stop your exercising, your heart rate still might be high. So you want to recover, meaning you want to breathe. Breathe like you're still working out for an additional 30 to 40 seconds. So then once we stop, we should be breathing and recovering. Do a talk test to confirm if you're out of breath or not. Do something like this. My breathing is manageable. If you can say 4 words or more, you're good. But if you can only do this, my breathing is manageable, and you're saying 1 word every breath, you're 2 out of breath. Slow it down. Slow yourself down. Sit down if you need to, okay? Don't forget, try to drink some water if you can, but purse lip breathe before you start. Do recovery breathing after you stopped exercising for an additional 30 to 40 seconds or until you fully recover, okay? Now, on your exercises, when you're exercising, mini squats are very important. Squats are important, but mini squats start people out when they can't do a lot. So if you're not at that level, then do chair exercises. The chair exercises you should be doing, first start with legs. Now, mind you, I'm not going over the breathing exercises as much because I need to know what problems you have. Okay, I'm a certified diver. I'm obviously a pulmonary care practitioner. But from experience, it's the worst thing I could ever do is give somebody a bunch of techniques and they have no idea how to utilize them. So I'd rather talk to you to see what the problem is and what you're going through. Now, chair exercise, if you can't do many squats, take a therapy band or even a towel, but therapy bands work the best. Put on the palm of your feet, okay? You come in, grab some tension, and push out. As you come in, inhale. As you push out, you exhale. Down, out, down, out. Once you finish about 3-4 sets of that, switch to the other leg. Inhale, exhale, pull it in all the way. Don't do something like this. That's the craziest thing ever. Make sure you're doing proper technique, okay? When you push, try to give about 3 seconds of tension time with those legs. So this, like this, too fast. 1 1,000, 2 1,000, 3. 3 seconds of tension time. 1 1,000, 2 1,000, 3. And while you're doing that, it will not be a bad idea if you put that closer to the tip of your toe, not the very tip, but around the plantar. No. So not at the very tip of your shoe. Just put on the palm, okay? Grab some good amount of tension and do push with your calves. Back in, rotate, back in, out, basically working your calves out too. Okay? As you work your calves out, make sure you're doing proper flexion. If I take my leg and I flex it, okay, that's full flexion. If I go up like this much, it won't work the whole leg out. I want to be able to push and do a full entire rep. Full. Okay, no partial reps. Full repetitions, whether it be the legs, arms, body. It's very important to provide full reps. Okay, no partial repetitions. Leg exercises start very slow. Write down on the calendar how often you're doing them. So a lot of people, what they'll do is they'll take a 30-day calendar. They'll write down 10 minutes or 3 to 5 sets, 3 sets of 5, okay, on each leg. And they'll just do that every other day. Make sure you're giving 2 days of break time. Once you're ready and you're getting better, of course, drop that down from, instead of 2 days of break time, 1 day of break time per week, okay? Exercises don't go over 10 minutes at first, okay? Start with 5 minutes, work your way up. If you're already at 10 minutes, great. Try to get yourself up to about 30 minutes of exercising continuously. But the rule of thumb is anything past 12 minutes of exercising, while your heart rate is going up a little bit, 10 beats above your baseline heart rate is good. But you got to know what your maximum heart rate is, which is the 220 minus your age. We did that last class, 220 minus your age. But try to stick within normal limits with your pulse rate. That's why it's best if I'm there with you, where I can see you from your home virtually. But I think it's best if I'm able to see you and hear you, and I work with you throughout. Okay? All right, guys. That's it. That's all the time we have for today. The exercises, we'll continue exercises on Tuesday and Thursday. If you're jumping and trying to jump into the program, before you get started with anything, email me. Remember what it is. It's HRN. This is the email address. HRN@hrn.center. Do not add a .com. There is no .com. A .com is what we call an extension. Okay? The .center is like the .com. It's an extension. It's just a .com is a very popular extension. When you have other .coms, like you have a .center, .edu, .org, there's other extension types. This one's a center. So the email address is HRN, stands for Home Rehab Network, HRN@hrn.center. Subject line, just put Alex, that I'll know that you're trying to talk to me. All I need is your name and your phone number. And I will call you, and all I need to know, I just need to find out what is going on. Have you been to Pony Rehab before? Where's your lung volumes? What type of diagnosis you have? What types of things that are bothering you, troubling you? I just need to know more about you. Okay, I don't want to just pretend everybody has COPD and I work out assuming, because the assumption is the worst thing you could ever do, but assuming everybody's okay. I'd rather know what's going on than assuming I know what's going on. Okay, so in order for me to know, it doesn't matter whatever is written down. I want to talk to you to really find out. Okay, all right, guys. So just give me an email address. Email me, but just give me your name and your phone number. And subject line Alex, and then I will call you. Okay, I will call you. All right, guys. That is it. I'll see you back. We'll be back on Tuesday. If you're getting into the program, fantastic. Then I will see you in class. My Monday class, remember, we're going to be doing some of the education. On Friday's class, it is strength training, but this is orientation still on this week. Anybody who's brand new, we do 2 days of education of how the program works and what you're going to be doing with me and things like that. Knowing your measurements for what maximum lung volumes, your maximum heart rate, how to use the pulse oximeter correctly, how to do this, how to do that. So the first week is mostly all education. The next week over is where we actually start working out. So my class that starts at 10:30 Eastern Standard Time, I'll see you back on Friday. We're going to do some light exercises, but I need to get through the rest of the orientation part. Okay? And then on Monday, exercise, Wednesday, exercise, and Friday. Exercises are very light. Remember, there's no such thing as a weak link in our chain. Okay, so if I see one person not doing well, I'll pull that person out, and that person and I will work out together until they're with everybody else at that level with everyone else, and then I'll put that person back in class. Usually that doesn't happen very often at all, but just in case if I ever see somebody is not doing as well as everybody else, our success rate is very high, but that's because that's what I do. I pull the people that I feel that are not up to where everyone else is at, where everyone else is at 1 or 2 miles. And while that person is probably only about a half a mile, they might need just a little bit more help. Other than that, I'll see you guys later, okay? Remember, next one is when? Thursday, right? Tuesdays and Thursdays are the live sessions with Facebook and YouTube and Twitter and TikTok. We're on every one of them. Instagram. Please follow us on that, but I'll see you guys later, okay? Back on Thursday, and Dr. Shaw will be in for Thursday's session too, all right? See you guys later. Thursday, my class that is in the program. I'll see you Friday, okay? I'll see you Friday. See you guys.